Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh to Dr. Harati and all my friends. My name is Ralisa binti Abdullah, and today I will present on memory strategies. First of all, according to Oxford 1990, learning strategies are divided into two. The first one is direct strategies, which include the memory strategies, cognitive strategies, and compensation strategies. The second one is the indirect strategies, which include the metacognitive strategies, affective strategies, and social strategies. So today, my focus will be on memory strategies. Okay, first of all, what are direct strategies? Okay, direct strategies are directly involved in the target language. Direct strategies require mental processing of the language. It also consists of three groups which I mentioned earlier, which are memory, cognitive, and compensation, which do the processing differently and for different purposes. Okay, so moving on, I'll be talking about memory strategies, which is one of the direct strategies. Okay, so what are memory strategies? Memory strategies help students to store and retrieve information, meaning that when they learn, they're able to store the information and they're also able to retrieve it for later. Okay, moving on, there are four parts of memory strategies. The first one is creating mental linkages. The second is applying images and sounds. The third is reviewing well. And the fourth is employing action. I'm going to explain this in the next part. Okay, first of all, creating mental linkages. Okay, first, classifying or reclassifying what is heard or read. Okay, grouping involves classifying or reclassifying what is heard or read into meaningful group, thus reducing the number of unrelated elements. For example, a student who is learning English writes down in his notebook new words when he hears them, and he then categorizes them grammatically. For example, into pronouns, you, he, she, and adjective, hard, easy, soft, or even adverbs quickly and completely. So the student is able to categorize them grammatically when he or she listens to the word. Okay, the second one is associating new language information with familiar concepts. Okay, associating or elaborating involves associating new language information with familiar concepts already in memory. Okay, the third is placing new words into context, a spoken or written sentence. Okay, placing new words into a context involves placing new words or expressions that have been heard or read into a meaningful context, such as spoken or written sentence, as a way of remembering it. For example, a student encounters a list of words related to sewing, such as hook, button, thread, needle, and he or she writes a little story to put these words into meaningful context. Okay, the second one is applying images and sound. Okay, the first is using imagery, which is a good way to remember what has been heard or read in the new language to create a mental image of it. Okay, the second one is using keywords. This strategy combines sound and images so that learners can easily remember what they had heard or read in the new language. Okay, the third one is representing sound in memory. This strategy helps the learner remember what they hear by making auditory rather than visual representation of sounds. Okay, moving on, reviewing well. It entails reviewing at different intervals, at first close together and then increasingly far apart. And the last one is employing action. Okay, the first is using physical response or sensation. This strategy may involve physically acting out a new expression that has been heard. The second is using mechanical techniques to remember what has been heard or read. Mechanical techniques are sometimes useful. For example, the use of flashcards with new word written on one side and the definition written on the other side. Okay, so that's all for me about memory strategies. Thank you very much for listening. Goodbye.